Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having a great day so far. So today I'm sharing with you a ginormous haul, most of which is makeup, but we've got a couple of other bits in here as well. So I'm going to be taking you through all my purchases over the last week or so and anything that I've tried, because I've tried a lot of it because, you know, I can't wait to film. I have to try everything the second it comes through the door. Then I will be giving you my initial thoughts and any review or any initial feelings about the products as we go along. So without further ado, let's get started. So my haul is not like a giant Sephora haul type of haul, because in the UK we don't have Sephora and we don't really have an alternative like option that resembles a Sephora. So my haul, my products, my items that are in this haul are from about 25 different places, because we just don't have one store like Sephora that has like pretty much all the beauty brands. We have to go to Look Fantastic, Feel Unique, Selfridges, ASOS, MAC, online, and about 8 different places to get all of the brands. We can't just go to one place and get everything because things are not available everywhere here. It's very annoying. That really bugs me. I'd love to just be able to do one order and all of this stuff come, but it's not possible. So yeah, we've got stuff from all over the place. So I'm going to start off with my perfume. So this was from Maison Kurdijan. Now this perfume is very famous. This is the Baccarat Rouge 540 fragrance. I chose to order this. This is available in the UK and it's available from like Selfridges, I think John Lewis, a couple of places. But I had a little heads up on one of my fragrance websites that I love. Probably fragrantica.com, I think, is probably where I got this tip off from. If you order actually from their own website, the brand's own website, it's cheaper. I mean, using the word cheap and Maison Kurdijan do not go together, but it is a few less pounds than buying it from John Lewis. Delivery is free and you get great samples and freebies thrown in there that you wouldn't get if you purchased this from a department store. So that is definitely a tip that I would share with you and recommend, as it was definitely the case for me. I think it ended up being something like £20 less getting it from their website than it would have been getting it from Selfridges, plus I got lots of freebies. So if I can open the box, I will show you. So this is the box inside with this glorious tissue paper. Now they had an offer on when I ordered my perfume that if you spent over 200 euros, I think it was 200 euros that you had to spend as a minimum, you got a free body lotion. There was only 2 options. You can't choose from any of the body lotions available, because I would have loved to have had the matching body lotion, but you had 2 choices. So I chose the Oud Silk Mood as my body lotion, and it's a full size free body lotion. So I wasn't quite at 200 euros just with my perfume. So I added in, just realized, oh no, it's fine. So I added in a sample set. So you basically choose 5 of the fragrances of your choice, and it comes in a little sample set, and that cost I think 14 euros, which got me to the 200 I needed to get the free body lotion. And it was really handy because you actually get that money. So if you purchase a perfume or anything now from their website, I'll get that 14 euros off my purchase, so you do get your money back. And it's a really great way to try other perfumes without having to fork out on a full bottle, because it's very hard, especially in the UK, to actually get your nose on his perfumes, and they're expensive. You don't want to blind buy them because they're expensive. If you end up not liking the fragrance, that would be pretty upsetting. So this is the body lotion. This is the Oud Silk Mood. Everything is gloriously packaged. This is the body lotion. Oh, it smells beautiful. It was really, really nice actually. As far as having a body lotion, it's very soft and it doesn't fight with fragrance, which is really nice, because actually now, having experienced the Perfume, the Baccarat Rouge 540. I think if I had purchased the matching body lotion, that would have been a lot. Because this is intense. So this is the perfume. It comes in this box like this. This is the bottle that we all have seen, I'm sure, a million times before. Now, I have a confession to make when it comes to this perfume, because I've gone back and forth on this fragrance for months, maybe even longer. I've been thinking about this for a long time. I ordered a sample of this fragrance a long time ago, a little, I think probably a 2 ml sample, like the samples, that I received in this box. And I loved the scent. I immediately got the hype. I understood why everybody loved it. It was gorgeous, but it didn't perform well on me, or not well enough for me to want to buy it. I was disappointed. I felt like people couldn't smell me. I wasn't getting compliments. I didn't feel like it was lasting very well on me and projecting very well. So I kind of decided not to purchase it based off that sample. Since then, I've been buying lots of samples, getting more so into my high-end, my niche fragrances. And I've learned that those little samples that you get, they're more so to tell you and to decide if you like the scent. They aren't going to give you an accurate impression of the performance unless you literally use the entire spray. And I think I was probably doing a couple of sprays like I would with the full bottle, and then it's just nowhere near as much as you would get from a full-size bottle spray. So that was my mistake, and that's my lesson. So since I got this, I just decided to get it, go for it, see what it's like in the full-size bottle. Everybody says it's beast mode performance, so maybe the full size will be better, and it is. It is insane. Like, I sprayed this when it first arrived upstairs in my bedroom. My husband was downstairs and like several rooms over, and he said he literally could smell it. He was in his office and was like, what is that glorious smell? And literally everywhere I go, I get compliments. Every time I wear this fragrance on the school run, wherever it is, it could have been on for hours and I can smell it all day long, which is what I love. So it was my bad, and I owe you a huge apology, Francis. I'm so sorry. It was me, not you. So the next kind of non-makeup related order was from Free People. So it's only a couple of items. I've never ordered online from Free People before. I usually get not from their own website. I've either bought Free People from Revolve or from ASOS, who has some Free People stuff. But what I wanted was not available on any of those sites, so I had to order direct from their site, and it was great. It was fine. Everything ordered, everything arrived perfectly. I think delivery was free over a certain amount. And it arrived, I think, in about a week. So yeah, not bad at all. So I picked up this vest. I have this vest in this is like my third color, I think, of this vest. I love it. It is just the perfect vest. I wear a lot of high-waisted paper bag trousers, jeans. That's kind of my favorite type of jean, like a nice high-waisted cinched in waist. And this vest, the color, I mean, I love it. But the length is just, it's got long, nice straps, so it kind of gives you a bit of cleave, if you will. And it's fairly cropped. It's not cropped as in, you're going to be showing your whole belly, but if you have high waist on, you might get a hint of tum. So it's the perfect length for wearing with high waist stuff. It's super stretchy and comfortable, and I love it. One thing I will say with Free People is you have to be careful on their website. Their images can be very misleading as far as colour. So just, if you can look through the reviews on their website, because people will always say in there the colours are accurate or not, and they'll let you know in the review as well about the sizing, because the size is a bit iffy for me. I'm a UK size 10, and their sizes go 8 to 10 is a small, and 12 to 14 is a medium, I think. Or is it the other way around? It's something like that. So I'm kind of I wish they had a 10 to 12 or just a 10. That would be easier. So I'm always a bit nervous because I have quite large breasts. Boobies. If it's a tight top like that vest, I'm always unsure if a small is going to be a bit tight on the boobs. But again, the comment section is very helpful. So next up, I got this jumper, which is life, let me tell you. I saw this on Jaclyn Hill, so not this exact one, but she had this sweater in a different shade. I think hers was like blue, and she was wearing it when she was on her Instagram stories, and basically instantaneously sold out the jumper. It came in like 8 colours, and she sold out every colour in every size on their website just from wearing it in her stories, because it is the perfect jumper. It's comfy. It's not too warm, like for this type of like time of year. It's not, you know, if it's a cooler day, you know, it's not sunny out like today, for example. It's not going to be like chilly with it on, and it's also not going to be like hot, because it's, I mean, I think it's like 70 degrees here today, so it's not hot and sunny, but it's still warm and muggy, so I don't want a huge jumper on. This is like perfect. It's the perfect length. It's oversized, it's baggy, it's a little bit off the shoulder, so it's sexy. So I picked up this shade, which is like their orange, like it's like an orange shade. I think it's called something like red, yeah, which again, it ain't red, it's orange or coral. The photos are slightly off, I would say, on the website. They look brighter than they are, but I was super happy to see that it was actually an orangey coral shade when it arrived. And oh my god, it's just perfect. It's perfect. And I will definitely, I think there was like one cream colour back in stock when I looked again, but I will definitely be getting this in about 4 more shades, because I want that. I think they had like a lilac one. There's a nice beige, like oatmeal shade. It's the perfect jumper, but the power of Jaclyn Hill was demonstrated on that day. So I have one more box. I hope I'm not showing my address. My address isn't on there, it's fine. This is from Feel Unique. So these, I saw these in their sale, in their offer, and this is already getting drowned by boxes. So this is the Catwalk Oatmeal and Honey shampoo and conditioner, like the super sized, like salon sized bottle duo. And let me tell you, this is my favorite shampoo of all time. So this is by, is it TG that makes this? And it's their Catwalk range. And oh my god, the smell of this, like, oh my god, it smells delicious, absolutely delicious. And these two, this set, what are they, 750 mils each bottle, was £13. Digest that, if you will. £13, insane. Such a good price. I was impressed. I think they're normally like 30, which is a good price still for such big bottles, but 13, excuse me, that will last me till Christmas, probably. Wash my hair like once a year, so it'll last me the next decade. So now we are on to the makeups. So let's talk about the most exciting thing here first. And this is my PR package from Laura Mercier. I still can't believe those words are coming out of my mouth. I don't know what's happening. But if this isn't in fact a dream that's been going on for a week or so now, Laura Mercier has just changed my life. Literally. Laura herself did not reach out to me, but Laura Mercier, the brand, reached out to me a few, like weeks and weeks ago, and asked if I would like to be added to their PR list. I mean, what a ridiculous question for a start. And then, against all the odds, I actually was added, and they sent me my first package, which was an utter dream. I know I've ranted on about this, but I still am slightly confused and somewhat agog. But here it is. It was in fact not a prank or a joke or a mistake. Apparently they actually meant to send me that email, and this was my first package. So it's this glorious, classy, sophisticated makeup box bag, case, if you will, and inside a whole face full of delight. So we've got her classic translucent setting powder. I have tried this one time because I've been trying to hang on to things to show you in this video. I've never tried this powder before. I know, I feel like I should be instantly deleted from YouTube because I've never tried this, but I don't really set my foundation. You guys know that. I'm not a setting powder kind of girl other than like my concealer, my under eye area. So that's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. But I did briefly try this the other day on top of the rest of these products, and oh, it's going to be perfect for the T-zone. It's very mattifying and invisible. It's also super smoothing. Those are kind of my initial thoughts for having only tried it one time. But yeah, very, very smoothing, very mattifying. So it's not going to be one that I'm going to want to use a lot all over my face, because obviously, you know, I love the glow. I'm not trying to mattify anything. Are you mad? Me? No. But T-zone, nose area, perfect. Or oily skin. I mean, it's the holy grail for oily skin, so I hear. I also got one of her concealers, which I'm going to put in a giveaway. I liked this concealer, but it didn't love me back. If you remember when I first reviewed it, the shades are just perfect on me, which is so sad. Coverage, perfect. Consistency, doe foot, etc. Everything perfect. But it really was quite mean to my lines. It wasn't the most flattering on my under eye lineage, you know, it exposed me. So I'm going to pop this in a giveaway to someone younger. All right. And then I got one of her tinted moisturizers in the shade Sand, which was genius. They asked me for my like winter and summer foundation shades because they don't have their entire range in their tinted moisturizer. So they sent me Sand, and it's like the perfect in-between shade that I can like use now. I can use in summer, and I can probably use it in winter as well, and just kind of balance it out. So that was perfect. You guys already know I love this. I've reviewed it and talked about it before. One of my favourite tinted moisturisers. And then they sent me one of their Pure Canvas primers in the Illuminating. Obviously, they knew what I was all about, didn't they? And last but not least, they sent me a puff, which is just so cute. So that was my first PR package from Laura Mercier, and I still can't quite believe I said that. So next up, we have a package from Cult Beauty. Now, this was actually 2 packages. I've slightly cheated. So there were actually 2 orders from Cult Beauty. The first was my Natasha Denona Mini Retro. I've had this a little bit longer, but I don't think I've shown it, talked about it, mentioned it on camera yet. So I thought I'd whack it in here. This came to Cult Beauty a week or so, a couple of weeks ago. Who knows when this is going up? It was some time ago. I always say that because I never know. My life will never be together, apparently. Who knows what's going on? Not me. But I've had this a little while. I've used it a few times. I do like it. It's beautiful. It's very pretty. Yeah, that's what I have to say about it. I feel like it's definitely one of these that does what it says on the tin. It's just every shade in here looks, feels, performs exactly how you want it to. These are definitely shades that I feel like shouldn't work together. I mean, you've got this sort of peachy pink, this beautiful topper shade, this sort of khaki matte, a peachy matte, and this stunning, what would you even call this? Like a sort of green silver. Would it be like a tourmaline? I feel like I'm making words up, but who knows? Shade, whatever it is. And they just work seamlessly together. I feel like Natasha's these mini palettes are stunningly well curated. Like, you couldn't put together 5 shades that like look like this and you think, what the hell's going on there? Somehow they're the perfect, absolute seamless, like they do really one look. Like, I don't think you're going to get 8 different looks out of this. You know, there are only 5 shades in here. They do one perfect look that you don't have to think about. She's done it for you. She's put it in there, sorted it all out. You don't have to think or use your brain. She's done it for you. It's one look in a palette, or maybe 2 if you're especially clever, maybe even 3, who knows. But I love it. It's beautiful, very pretty, does exactly what you think and want it to do. Every shade in here is a dream. Highly recommend whenever it comes back into stock, which, you know, who knows? Who knows? So I also picked up 2 items from her bronze collection. I got one of her glosses. This is the shade Caramel, the Lipophoria glosses. Now, so far I'm kind of on the fence with this gloss. I got the coral shade from her previous collection. I think it was the Love collection that the coral shade came out with, and I absolutely adore it. This one I'm kind of just on the fence with a little bit. So I whacked it straight on my lips when it got in the door, as as I do, as always. And I was just a bit like, okay. So here's it here, here's it here, here's it here, here's it here, love. Here it is, I should have said. I love the shade, it's beautiful. It goes, undoubtedly, it goes beautifully with the bronze eyeshadow palette as a look, but it's definitely not like a full coverage gloss, and that's kind of what I was expecting and hoping that it was going to have a bit more of a coverage to it. So I feel like I'm only really going to love it over a lipstick, and I don't love doing that. I either want to wear a shiny lipstick or a gloss that is like got the sort of pigmentation of a lipstick, like the Dose of Colours lip glosses like that, where it's like a lipstick and a shiny topper in one, or just a really super shiny lipstick. That's kind of my thing. I don't like layering. I feel like it gets messy. You get lipstick on the wand, and it's not my thing. So with that one, I'm a little bit on the fence. So stay tuned. I'm gonna play around with it more. I love the shade of it. I like the tingle. But yeah, I'm not blown away, you know? So now on to this palette. Everybody has been asking me, what are my thoughts? And am I going to review it? What's going on? What's the tea on the bronze eyeshadow palette? So I chose not to pick up the cheek palette after watching many reviews. Obviously this landed much later in the UK than the US. So I did have the luxury of time to decide whether I wanted it or not, the entire collection in fact. And the cheek palette, I just feel like it's just okay. I don't think it's as nice as the Love cheek palette or the Tan cheek palette that I already own, and therefore it doesn't offer me anything I don't already have, and I don't need it. I feel like, you guys know I'm not much of a cream girl. I feel like the creams in the bronze palette aren't the best creams I've ever seen, and there are 2 creams in there which I feel I won't use, knowing myself, and then 1 too dark for me highlight that again I won't really use. So it's not worth it to me to buy it for 1 shade in the palette. That is a glorious shade. That 4th shade looks perfect, but I'd rather buy a single highlight than a whole palette just to use 1 shade, you know? But I did decide to buy the eyeshadow palette. And here are my initial thoughts. I've used this like 3 or 4 times, and I've pretty much used every shade in here. I'm wearing it today. So I do feel like I have got my thoughts on it together. So this certainly wasn't an eyeshadow palette that once it came through my door, I was like, oh my God, yes, yes. Put it straight on my eyes. I didn't feel like that about it, like I did with like my Pat McGrath Divine Rose 2 or Divine Rose 1 or any of my Pat McGrath palettes, or my Natasha Denona Metropolis or the minis. Like with those, I'm like, they come in and I'm so excited and ready to put them on my eyes. I don't feel like this is a palette that many people are going to get super excited about, because it is just very dull. Like it is. It's not like something that you would get excited about when it arrives. So it wasn't something that got my heart and my blood pumping and rushing around my veins, you know. Having said that, it is exactly what I wanted for in the most perfect way. If you have like 10 of Natasha Denona's palettes and you have a couple of her large palettes, and I don't mean like the Biebers, I mean her big daddy palettes. If you have Metropolis, Bieber, a few of her minis, you certainly don't need this. There's nothing unique in here that you don't already have, even without those palettes. I have all of these shades in my ABH palettes. However, the Natasha Denona formula, in my opinion, is far superior to the ABH formula as far as blend and all of that kind of stuff. So I feel like this palette kind of curated all of my ABH palettes into one handy palette with the highlights of all of those palettes, other than Norvina, which is obviously a very different shade selection. But this is like soft glam, modern renaissance, sultry, all in one. All of the highlights of those palettes, my favorite shade out of those palettes in one. I've been considering picking up Bieber for a long time, but I'm put off by the fact that it only has a couple of shimmers in there. This one is a lot more shimmers options. I wish this had a bone shade coloured matte. I wish it had a bone coloured matte for like a brow highlight, or, you know, a soft glam on the lid. That's what I feel like it's missing. I also feel like it's missing at least one lighter shimmer. I feel like it looks lighter in here, but when you use it on the eye, all of these shimmers are actually more like a medium. They aren't, none of them are very light. So you don't really have like an inner corner option in here. Like, I feel like I want to use a highlight or a different palette for my inner corner. I feel like it's missing a bone coloured matte, and it's missing a much lighter, brighter shimmer that for me, for it to be perfect. So I'll show you what I mean. Hopefully you can see what I mean. So these are like all the shimmers, not all of the shimmers, but most of the shimmers in here. And actually these are the lighter shimmers in here. So you can see there's not really a bright, like a champagne, a lighter gold, like a white gold. There's nothing in here to pop your inner corners. So that is a slight downside of the palette. That for me would have made it like perfection. However, I'm super glad, I have no regrets. The formula is like her absolute best formula of all time. Every shade, every matte blends like itself insanely well. Her shimmers are all stunning, beautiful, pretty, glorious. It's got the perfect number of mattes and shimmers. It's got the perfect number of transition options and depth and choices when it comes to mattes and the crease, etc. So all of that is phenomenal. I truly wish there was a bone shade in here and a lighter shimmer, but I think maybe I'll just pop a couple of shades in here from one of my other palettes, because they do have these holes on, so you can pop them out and move them around. And those would be what if I was to remake this palette again, that's what I would do. Do I think you're going to be disappointed with this palette? Definitely not. I think it's beautiful, and it does allow you, it hits that soft glam, everyday, very wearable, every single shade in there every day of your life. It ticks that box like none other. It's a very wearable, like I feel like I'll hit pan on every shade in there in a year's time, because it's so usable. So that was my cult beauty order. Next up, I had an order from Charlotte Tilbury. So we know I had her setting spray. I've talked about this previously. I picked up the small size, so she launched this kind of smaller travel size initially, like a month before the full size will launch. And I also picked up this mini luxury palette of mattes in the shade Desert Haze. I can't tell you how many times I've said I'm not going to buy this, and then here it is. I mean, what's that about? Who does that? All of us, okay? So don't come for me. We all do it. I've been on and off about this palette since it came out, and I eventually went off when I saw Mel Thompson compare it to the Charlotte Tilbury, what was it? Her Pillow Talk large eyeshadow palette. Because it looked like if you had that palette, you basically didn't need this one, like you already had all of the shades in there if you have her larger one. But the more time went on, I was thinking, do you know what, I just really want a Diddy everyday little palette, and I'll show you another one that I picked up this month to serve the same purpose. I just want like to grab this or take this with me if I travel, and it's going to be the perfect soft glam natural eye with, you know, I use this shade here as a wing with a tiny little pencil brush from my Refa one, and these two in the crease, this on the lid and the arch, and I'm done. I think it's just perfect. It's very small. Yes, you have all these shades, very small. It's as in it does this one thing again. But it does it so perfectly, so beautifully. The shades are absolutely perfect for what I want. So yeah, I finally bit the bullet. Now, as far as the spray, here are my thoughts on this spray. I've used this 3 or 4 times now. It's got the nicest mist. I mean, I could spray it. Should I spray it? Let's spray it. It's so nice. That was nice because I was actually getting a little bit hot. But it's a very light fragrance, very, very nice, fresh, very light fragrance. The mist is like the best, finest mist I've ever tried in a spray. It's glorious. I have to spray it like a ton, otherwise I feel like it hasn't touched my face. Like you can't, it's so fine, you don't feel it. It's never going to disturb your makeup or leave a blob or a splotch like some do. So that's all fantastic. I definitely think it does that melting of the powders together on your face beautifully. I definitely think it does that refreshing of your makeup halfway through the day beautifully. So those two things, perfect. Do I think it smooths my makeup and my skin and blurs everything? I don't necessarily see or notice it doing that. As far as longevity of makeup, I don't necessarily see or notice it doing that either. However, what I will say is that I don't wear my makeup for like 24 hours, especially not at the moment. At the moment, I'm putting it on at like 10 or 11 in the morning and then, you know, having it on for like 4 or 5 hours, going to the gym and then washing it all off. I will also say that I have over the years really like narrowed down the makeup I wear, especially my base makeup, to find products that do not deteriorate for the length of time I wear them. So my primers, my foundations, all of those things they don't need any help to wear for the length of time that I want them to look nice for. So I don't need a longevity type setting spray. These products that I love do everything they need to do by themselves. So it's not an issue I have, and therefore there's nothing for me to notice. I'm not, you know, a nurse going to work a 16-hour shift running around with a face mask over to test this in that way. So I wouldn't say I've really tested that. I can't see that my makeup's lasting any better, but it was lasting well without it. So that's what I have to say about that. Next up, I got one single item from an American like beauty boutique. So it's called Bridget's Boutique, and I wanted to shout them out because they were amazing. So this is MAC's Mangrove Lipstick. As soon as you see this lipstick, I'm imagining you're thinking, what a Charlotte shade. And yes, I thought exactly the same thing. I saw this lipstick, this shade swatched on Temptalia. It's not new. It was marked on there as a permanent shade. I went straight onto the MAC website to order it, and it wasn't there. I did the whole chat with an artist thing, and they said, oh yes, that's basically, it was released in the UK as a part of a limited collection that has long gone, but then it was made permanent in the US and not in the UK. Pardon? So that was that. So then I was Googling it, seeing if I could find it anywhere, and Bridget's Boutique popped up. So it's a US-based beauty boutique. Their shipping was very reasonable. So they don't include duties and taxes. They don't include taxes, so you will have to pay them on arrival. However, because I was only ordering this, I was actually going to sneak under the threshold to have to pay tax, so I didn't have to pay any duties or taxes because this didn't qualify on its own, because it's the only thing I ordered. So I think shipping was like a £5, and they ordered it, and they were amazing. It was literally right at the peak of when Corona was all just kicking off, and so it took quite a long time to get here. I think 2, maybe even 3 weeks, and the entire time they were emailing me, checking in, reassuring me where it was, when it was coming. I think at the end of it, they basically put a few pounds credit on my account to say we're sorry for how long it took, even though it's nothing to do with them. And I just thought they were amazing. So I would highly recommend, if you want to order and they've got something on their website that you can't get here, they were amazing. I was super impressed. So next up, an order from MAC themselves. Then the first thing I must talk about is this lipstick. This is from their mosaic something mosaic-y, something about mosaics collection. So they have a few lipstick, there's an eyeshadow palette and a couple of brushes and some eyeliners, I believe. So this lipstick is the shade Clay Rose. I'm not really into buying lipsticks, but just in this video alone, there's like 4, so I don't know who I think I'm fooling, but not you guys. I know that much. So I saw this on someone or swatched somewhere, and I was like, oh, that is like the perfect rose shade for my skin tone, which I have been looking for a long time. I feel like I'm kind of not generally in the market for lipsticks, even though it doesn't appear to be true. But that's, you know, I'm not going out searching for them. I feel like my lipstick collection it's a dream. It's perfect. I don't need, there isn't a shade out there I haven't already got. So it has to be special for me to want it, but I don't have this perfect rose shade in my collection. So when I saw this, I really wanted to try it, and I wasn't anticipating this packaging. Do you see the beauty of that? The sparkles, I mean, it's to die for. I love it. And it is exactly what I hoped it would be. It's just perfect. It's a dream. It's very easy to wear every single day, and it just suits me more so than the other shades I've got. There are 3, I think, lip shades, all of them glorious. I think they're all essentially deeper or lighter variations of that one from the looks of it. That's kind of the theme of that collection. So next up, a blush that I have loved and owned. This is Pinch Me. I have had this for ages, but I depotted it stupidly many moons ago. I depotted this into, depanned it, whatever you want to call it, into my big MAC blush palette. And I just don't reach for that palette because it's in a drawer. I have to get it out. There's not a lot of blushes in there that I use anymore apart from this one. So I decided to purchase this in the packaging so that I could put it in my kind of everyday go-to blush drawer so that I don't forget about it. So this is my favorite MAC blush of all time. It's the perfect finish. It's a sheer tone, so it's very buildable. You can make it as soft or you can build it up, and it's just, it's a special shade. I love it. I can't tell you why it's so special. It has a lovely, very natural finish. It's not matte, but it's not shimmery or luminous really either. It's probably a satin or a natural finish. It's so buildable. The formula, it blends out like a dream, and the color, it's just a perfect kind of neutral, inoffensive, not going to argue with your eyes or your lips type of blush. And I absolutely adore it. It's my favorite MAC blush. It's just perfect. I think MAC blushes are just, they got a special place in my heart, you know, a bit like MAC lipsticks. Now, next up, this was a mistake. I've only had it a couple of weeks, but it was a mistake. So I bought this MAC palette. The shades inside I already had, other than this one, I think. I had all of the others. So let me see if I can remember what these are. So this is Brule, Soft Brown, Brown Script, and Embark. Embark is what it is. So prior to me buying the Desert Dusk palette from Desert Haze, silly. So I bought this Brule shade from MAC. The rest I already owned. I had them depotted, whatever the expression is, in my big palette. And I wanted to kind of make my own like everyday go-to soft glam eyeshadow palette. So I bought this little palette, plopped everything in there, and what ruined it was Embark. It was so much darker than I anticipated, and it almost has like a purple, it's almost black. So it was way too dark and rich, and it doesn't blend very well either. And then Brule is much light. I mean, you can see on my hand there, it looks almost white. So it looks very stark on my lid. So I just kind of messed up the shades. And that's when I like gave up on just trying to, when I can't swatch anything at the moment, going off online swatches, I was like, I just give up. And I decided to order the Charlotte Tilbury instead, because she's done the work for me. Why am I trying to do it myself, you know? This I think will be fine in winter. This shade will work fine for me. It's just in summer, it's like 20 times lighter than my skin tone, so it just is too much. It was a mistake, okay? And now, lastly but not leastly, I picked up my summer shade in the Estee Lauder Futurist Hydra Rescue Foundation, and this is the shade Bronze. Now, at the moment, the weather has taken a bit of a downturn here, so I'm not like at my most tanned skin. So at the moment this is too dark for me, so I'm mixing this with my winter shade, which is tawny. But I always feel like this says a lot when I buy a summer shade, so I wanted to mention that I purchased this, because that to me shows you how much I like a foundation. If I have to have it winter and summer, then you know it's a good one. So this has made it into that very prestige category that I now own my summer and winter shade in this foundation. So there you have it. Those are all the products, the items, the things that I have picked up in the last week. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'd love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.